Hello, I'm Ozzy, and after watching Birds of Prey and seeing its pretty dismal box office takings, I've come to the realization that women just don't go to the cinema anymore. And as a result, because movies are a business, we probably should stop making them for women specifically. Now, I know that sounds terrible. I know you want to pin me up on a board and call me Jesus and burn me at the stake. But let me go through some points that I've realized which might change your mind and make you realize that I am speaking the truth. Now, number one, romantic comedies are dead. They're not being made anymore. If you go to the cinema, you will not find a romantic comedy, and you probably haven't since 2010, I think. I think actually there was one that came out with Emilia Clarke that came out recently. I forget what it's called. It was like Last Christmas or something. I heard it was really weird and it bombed as well. You know, you used to see those romantic comedies all the time. You used to see Ashton Kutcher and Cameron Diaz, Tom Hardy, whoever's like the latest star, they'd throw in a romantic comedy with the latest girl, and some chicks would go to it and they'd bring their boyfriends and whatever, and they'd have a good time. But obviously they're not being made anymore. They're just not making any money. And that's sad to see. Now, more than anyone, I want to see films of all kinds, different diversities, different genders, whatever the fuck. I want interesting films spanning over every kind of range you could possibly imagine. Queer, gay, whatever, something on trees, something on dogs, licking, whatever you want. But I'm afraid the cinema business, Hollywood, isn't what it used to be. It's not quite as popular. It's not going to die by any means, but I wouldn't mind seeing it a bit stronger. And you can only really make those weird films, those diverse films for certain small minority groups when you're really healthy. And I don't think it's as healthy as it could. Just looking at some of the big mergers, Sony's not doing as well as it should be. Warner Brothers, they're not taking enough risks. They're not paying for those middle budget films. They're paying for something that's either really cheap or super expensive that they know it's going to make its money back. Like women, it can't be F going to the cinema anymore. It doesn't appeal to them. And as much as you might parade and shout that this is for women's issues and finally women on screen and all that stuff, they're still not going to show up. So what's the point of making films for them? Now, I know this all sounds terrible, but please, you gotta understand, we want to get the big film business back healthy. And I've got a couple of ideas of who to focus on. And you won't be surprised, single guys. I mean, guys love film. I don't know why. They're the ones that champion Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Jurassic Park. They're the ones that go and wear their stupid shirt with a film quote on it and all that stuff and have the R2-D2 blankets and all that. They're the guys you want to focus on because they're nuts. Men have a bit more imagination and creativity, or at least that's what science says. We got a bit more grey matter or something in our heads. And women are a bit more, organized and multitasking. More about doing this or this. They don't have much room in between for just thinking and having an imagination.
You're just a woman with a small brain, with a brain a third the size of us. It's science.
Now, maybe that's one of the reasons why they can't be going to the cinemas these days. I think it also has to do with iPhones, Instagram, Twitter, all these social media apps that they do become quite obsessed with. And Netflix is so easy. They don't need to go and they can watch whatever shows on here. On Netflix, sorry. They don't want to go see the latest blockbuster. There's nothing really, they don't want to challenge themselves. They want something that's quite comfortable and convenient. Men, on the other hand, we want to see the latest Star Wars film. We want to see superheroes beating each other up. We just have that little bit of grey matter that wants it. And we'll go and out of our way to pay for it and see it on a huge screen. Women, on the other hand, don't apparently want to. I think maybe it is a bit more materialistic, maybe are a bit superficial. They don't want to feel anything. I'm just punching in the dark here. I'm just trying out ideas. Maybe they're correct. Who knows? I don't know. Do you know? I mean, I went and saw the Kristen Stewart film Underwater the other day. Not because I wanted to see Kristen Stewart kicking ass or something like that. I just wanted to see a good survival horror film. And it was decent enough. But in the cinema was only guys. Single guys. Schlubby, fat, pathetic. What are you doing here? You can give them that look of like, you're pathetic, aren't you? You're seeing this film by yourself. And they will shrug their shoulders. Yeah, well, what the fuck are you going to do? Anyway, single guys always go to the cinema. or guys bringing their girlfriends. Married couples, they just don't have time anymore. The kids. And look at the films that are succeeding. I mean, Joker is about a single guy who kills people. Made over $1 billion. Infinity War, all the Marvel films are always going to make money. Star Wars films are always going to make money because the guys are going to go in droves. That's how easy it is. Pander to them, you'll get your money back. You'll get the movie film business back to good strength all around. Let's just pass around a couple of those IPs. I mean, look at all these bombs that have happened. It's not just Birds of Prey with Harley Quinn. It's Rough Night with Scarlett Johansson. It's the Ghostbusters film. It's what's another one? I don't know. There's so little. And what men want? They all bombed. No one wanted to have anything to do with these films because they're women specific, and half the time they're trashing men. I mean, why trash men? They're all right. Talk to them. You'll find a good couple or two. I don't know. Women just must be like, they must really want to just nag half the time. I know I enjoy nagging every now and then. I do it purely to enjoy it, but I know they just like, oh, fucking hell, why don't you put the laundry in the basket, idiot? Captain Marvel made over $1 billion. Now, that's nothing to sneeze at. But is it because all the women in the world went and showed up for it? No, I don't think so. I think it was in between two of the biggest films of all time. One, Infinity War, which ended on an epic cliffhanger. And we all knew Captain Marvel was going to be a key player in the next film, in Endgame, which ended up being the biggest film of all time. So you put Captain Marvel in between those two, and you don't think it's going to do well. You don't think people are going to be interested from Infinity War. That's where the money's coming from. Most of the money comes from guys seeing these films, not women. Women are still staying home, doing their knitting, figuring out what their man wants in the kitchen that night, so he doesn't leave her, basically. And the thing is, Brie Larson was in that role. A lot of people thought she was miscast. She's not winning over any new fans, especially not women.
The thing I tried for a while was eating dinner in the shower. I was like adamant that that was going to be a great time saver. I was always really concerned.
Well, that's just a sign of mental illness.
She's the biggest complainer of them all. Another one, Wonder Woman. Why do people go to that? It's female-centric. I think it was more a good film and the good buzz about it, and it wasn't damning men. It was kind of just showing this character and doing the character justice. And I went and saw it. I could have gone. I think I saw it twice. I think a lot of guys went and saw it, and a lot of women. So that was just a good film. You make a good film, people are going to show up. What can I say? But yeah, other than that, I can't really imagine too many films that aren't comic book films specifically that are really getting people into the cinema. And why do we even have to champion women in films anymore? Like, haven't we got a lot of female heroines, and haven't half of them started up huge franchises? Like, was there ever really a worry? Do we have to cater for them? I'm just thinking of like Ripley and Alien. The Alien series is huge. Sarah Connor, one of the best female characters of all time. Also in Terminator, one of the biggest franchises of all time. And then you've got other ones where you've got like Kate Beckinsale in Underworld. I mean, she was awesome in that. You got Jennifer Lawrence in The Hunger Games. Twilight, which appealed to women, but then floundered, I have to say. I think there's no shortage of women heroes or celebrating women in cinema. I think those franchises made boatloads. You don't need a guy. So I don't know why we're freaking out about it. But when you make films that are specifically for women, trash guys, jeez. It just doesn't, there's just nothing original about it. Guys, we don't really care. That's why we watched, Underworld, The Matrix, all these women that are just strong, kick-ass women. We want to see that. We want to see the kick-ass women more so than women. I think women probably prefer films where there's either a lot of sex or a lot of heartbreak. They want to go and see a good film to cry about. Two young lovers that have cancer, I don't know, something where they can just cry their eyes out and then go home. That's an enjoyable experience for them. Something about heart in that regards. Men will see anything else. They'll see those films, they'll see anything. But women are pretty particular. And even if you do make those films, make it on a small budget because, they're not going to show up. I mean, just thinking about it, no women dress up as these characters. Like, no one's dressing up as Ripley, no one's dressing up as Sarah Connor, no one's dressing up as Margie from Fargo. All these strong women characters, they're probably well written and more inspirational than any of the other ones. I mean, women are... When you see women dress up or kind of emulate any character, it's like Tomb Raider. who's known for just being a sexy Tomb Raider, or Jessica Rabbit, who was pretty much just a trophy wife of Roger Rabbit. Like, she's just made to be beautiful, and women aspire to that for some reason. Vampirella or something like that. And everyone dresses up as Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, the sexy outfit. I get a feeling that, as much as we're saying that this is the male gaze, I think women are probably more interested in the look than the guys are. Because guys, as I've pointed out, will see everything. Anything with women, except Ghostbusters or Birds of Prey. So my whole point is, let's go back to how we were making things. I would say in the 2000s at least, early 2000s, we were making some great films. We didn't care about pandering to all female-led films with a female director and a female writer. Let's just make good films. Don't just tick the boxes. I've got a feeling that even Margot Robbie made this Birds of Prey film and made it specifically female and feminist, so none of the females would give her shit anymore and say, why aren't you doing all this stuff for females? Now she can go, I made Birds of Prey. It's got women in it. Oh, what are you going to say about that? I think that was her point. I don't think this is meant to entertain anyone and definitely not get its money back. WB took a huge gamble. Here are the lists. No more gambling on issues of feminism, racism, gay rights, anything like that. Don't worry about it because they're not going to go see these films. Yes, they'll champion these ideas on Twitter and on other social media platforms, but they won't go and pay to see what they asked for, what they wanted, because they're just nagging. They're naggers. We all nag a little bit at a time. That's a nagging platform. Don't pander to it. Just do what you were doing before. Make good films, get a good writer, good cast, good idea, get it all stirring in the pot, get a stew going, and make that stew the best goddamn stew you've ever had. I mean, look at the great film. There's been so many shitty films out recently, so many meh films that I think it's these kinds of films and these kinds of ideas are really dragging down the whole quality level of cinema, and as a result, getting less and less money. So let's get the film business back to its strength. Let's all pull together here. Don't worry about the parameters that we're set on ourselves these days, and let's just make some good films which men and women can enjoy before we go off and start fireballing our own cinemas with this trash that we've seen lately. Now, I hope I haven't stepped on any toes. I've tried to tread carefully through this minefield, and I think I've done it pretty successfully. But if you've got any opinions at all, shut the fuck up. I don't care. I'm doing my own channel. I don't do this thing for other people's benefit. I do it to hear myself speak. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.